In 2003, I lived in Berlin as part of Tom Sax's Nazis installation at the Deutsche Guggenheim. I was 28 years old, and I had a social life there. And through friends, I met a bunch of Americans who were living in Berlin at the time. This was 2 years after September 11th, 2001, and I began filming these interviews on September 11th, 2003.
What does she think about you being in Germany?
She says, Athena, why'd you have to move so far away?
Did she come to visit?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Have any of your family come to visit?
My sister came to visit.
How'd she like it?
Yeah, her boyfriend was living here for a while, for like 6 months. So she came to see him and me.
How long ago?
1.5 years ago, something like that.
That was before you left and came back.
That's right.
So where are we?
We are in my flat it's my flat for a month. There's a club downstairs. It's going to be opening in the end of this month. And then later, this will be a hotel.
Okay.
So it's 4 floors of empty rooms.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you move here? You moved here a year and a half ago?
I moved here 3.5 years ago.
About 3.5 years
Yeah.
ago. Why did you move here?
I actually meant to go to Italy, and I bought a plane ticket to Italy. It went San Francisco, Amsterdam, Rome, and I got off in Amsterdam and traveled around for 2 months and ended up here without any money, and I just decided to stay because I had no money to get down to Italy, and I wasn't ready to go back to California.
So why were you moving to Italy in the first place?
Well, I was trying to go to school at the time in California and wasn't really working out. I wasn't motivated to do it at all. I just felt a lot of pressure from my family, of course, pressure from society. And I realized, after a year of trying to do this, I realized that I always wanted to go to Europe. It was like my childhood dream. So I bought a plane ticket and just took off.
And do you think, were a lot of people surprised, like a lot of your friends there, that, did they think that was such a wild idea to just buy a plane ticket and go, or, do you think?
Yeah. My best friend was actually quite upset with me. She claimed that I was being self-destructive and running away, which, for her, if she had made that kind of decision, it would have been self-destructive and she would have been running away. But for me, that's what I wanted to do. But yeah, people were...
Why did she think it was running away? Running away from what?
You go to a new place, it's exciting, you forget your problems for a while, and then, they surface again. Mm-hmm. Her mother was also a therapist, so... Yeah.
It fits in with the North American, idea of it being so difficult to move your surroundings. Or...
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you find the move hard?
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, okay, from time to time, sure, because I moved here without knowing anybody. I knew absolutely nobody, and I had no money to begin with, and I couldn't speak German either. So, yeah, it was quite difficult. But I found work, I just was really persistent. And I used to take the train, get off at some stop, and go around to every single bar, cafe, and restaurant I could find and ask in English if they had any work. It's like, I'll even wash dishes, I don't care, And it got really, really difficult. Just the being rejected all the time, got to the point where I would walk into a place and they would say, no, we don't have any work. And I walk out on the street and just start crying, just burst into tears on the street, and then see the next place, and I'd have to pull myself together. And then finally I gave up. I changed my ticket to go home, and the day I was supposed to leave, I was walking down the street, and there was this guy in front of a restaurant that I had been in before, and he said, "Oh, I was wondering if I would see you again. Are you still looking for work?" I was like, "Well, when can I start?" He's like, "Come in tonight." So then I was kind of stuck here because I just had to let my plane ticket go.
Well, that's great. Why do you think you made the decision to let the plane ticket go?
I mean, I saw this as an opportunity, you know. I just was not ready to go back to California. I wasn't ready to give up, you know.
What did you
It's
say
kind of fate.
at the restaurant?
I made cocktails. I mean, I didn't have to speak any German, so I just stood behind the bar and made drinks and stuff.
What are you doing now?
I'm a bartender and I DJ. So.
What do you miss about home?
Nothing really.
No, not even like fucking peanut butter?
No, I don't miss any foods from home. I mean, a lot of people say that I miss Mexican food, or I miss this, or I miss that. I don't miss anything.
Have you been back recently?
Yes. I had tried to move back last September, and I lasted 9 months, and I couldn't adjust. The whole time I was back, I couldn't adjust. I just felt like an alien the whole time.
Why?
No, I didn't really have any friends left there, and I started my adult life in Berlin, and I just felt like I couldn't relate to people, you know? It was like I thought it would be easier to start there, you know? I was thinking, well, I can work legally, and I know some people, and everybody speaks English, but it was just as hard as starting here, and I just wasn't prepared for it.
Do you think, did any of the politics have anything to do with it, or like the politics of America or anything?
Yeah, every time actually that I've gone back to America, I felt like I'm being watched all the time. Even before September 11th, I had been back twice to visit, and I've just every time felt like I was being watched.
Do you have any examples that you can think of?
No, it's kind of just an overall feeling.
And this is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the police in America?
Ooh. Well,
Versus here, perhaps?
Police in America, I feel, try to provoke people and create more problems, make people feel angry. And here, you know, police are much more relaxed, I feel. You know, like the other night, me and my friends were DJing outside, like till 4 in the morning, and somebody called the police because we were being a little bit loud. I mean, not the music, but just the talking. So the police came and they shined a flashlight in our eyes, and they were kind of like, you know, oh, you guys are being a little bit loud. Can you turn the music down? We turned it off. We were still loud because we were laughing. Then they came back and they said, you know, you guys have to quiet down. Like, there'll be problems if we have to come back. But police in America, I think, would shine the flashlight in your eyes and say, you kids been smoking pot? You guys been drinking a little bit? You know, this kind of thing. And these guys were totally relaxed. You know, they don't try to provoke you. They just try to handle the situation.
Do you feel freer here?
Yes, definitely. But I think that might have to do with the fact that it's a foreign country. It's a new place. You know, I don't feel the kind of social pressures that I do in America.
What do you think about the multicultural aspects, or the lack of here? America or San Francisco?
Yeah, it seems like people here don't mix as much. I feel like it's pretty much, you have the white kids, and then you have like the the Turkish and, you know, Asian, and there isn't the same kind of cultural exchange going on, I feel.
Does that affect you? Like, do you feel like you miss that, or?
I mean, to me, people are people, and I talk to all kinds of people when I'm in shops or whatever. I don't really know.
Can you think of, like, what do you think the biggest difference between the German kids, like our peers here, are versus back home? Like the one that sticks out for you?
Definitely sense of humor. I can understand the German sense of humor a lot better since I've learned German. But in America, we make fun of ourselves. We make fun of other people. There's a lot of sarcasm. And here, that's not part of the equation at all. You don't make fun of yourself.
What is their sense of humor?
It's rather serious. I mean, I don't necessarily find it that funny, but I can understand how they would find it funny, you know.
How did you learn German?
Just from picking it up. I never took a class. I just read books and looked up things in dictionaries and asked people what different words meant.
How long did that take?
I'm still learning. I mean, it took like 6 months before I understood pretty much everything, and then like another 6 months before I could start to talk. So.
And where did you stay when you first got here and you had no money?
I met a girl named Sophia, and she invited me to live with her and a friend, and so there were 3 of us living in a one-room studio apartment.
Where?
In Friedrichshain.
Was it a squat kind of place, like an alternative squat one place?
No, she was just renting it, and I think she was kind of lonely and wanted company.
Do you feel that the Americans kind of hang out with each other here? Is it like kind of a support group kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of the Americans that I know don't speak German too, which it makes it a lot. I mean, it makes it a lot easier for them to just hang out together because they speak the same language, you know.
But you don't think it goes beyond that, or it's just?
I mean, yeah, you share the same background. It's hard, you know. Once you meet one American, they have more American friends, and then they have, you know, it's just this whole network, and it's a bit hard to break out of. I think I find myself in that situation right now. And I think, why am I in Germany if I just hang out with a bunch of Americans all the time?
So it's September 11th today, of course. But what was your experience with that whole thing?
Well, I was in my flat with my roommate, who's also American, and it was in the afternoon, of course. We got a phone call from my friend. Saying, yeah, a plane just crashed into the World Trade Center tower. And then another phone call, another one crashed in, and then another phone call, and it kept going like that. And I thought, this is a joke, you know, this has got to be a joke. And so we didn't have a television or a radio. And we got on the tram and rode down to my friend's house, and he had the television on, and we watched just pictures over and over and over, and finally it just felt kind of like a movie. I couldn't really watch it anymore, you know. But I don't feel much of a connection to it at all, honestly. I mean, it's sad that thousands of people died, but I've never been to New York. I haven't lived in America in a while, and I just don't really feel a connection to it. Especially being here when it all happened.
So, what do you think of the what's happened afterwards? America's reaction to it?
Oh, frightening. Yeah, I was in America actually when war was declared on Iraq, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, yeah, I could believe it, but I was certain that we were going to get bombed in San Francisco. I think it's all terrible. What's been happening? I don't agree with it.
So, and where's the next place that you're moving to? Where's your new apartment going to be?
My new apartment will be in Prenzlauer Berg also, and be subletting it from a friend of mine.
Yeah. And do you sublet because it's hard to get apartments here, like as an American, or are you legal here, or are you not legal?
I used to be legal, and I'm not right now. Before I wasn't totally legal, but at least I had a residence permit. Still wasn't allowed to work. But of course, to get a flat, you have to have a visa, and you have to prove that you can pay for it, unless you find some other kind of circumstance.
Is that common for the American kids here? Is that common that they're illegal?
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people come here and they don't really know how long they're going to stay. So, they don't really have a plan for how to be legal or what kind of work they could do. It's quite difficult.
And how do you feel that people like Germans or other Europeans react to you when you say you're American, especially with all like the war and all the politics and everything that's going on? Like, do you feel a sense of responsibility about being American, or do you feel like people, react to you as though you should have a sense of responsibility? Or
I feel like the Germans can separate between American politics and American people. I say I'm from San Francisco, and I don't say I'm from America, I say I'm from San Francisco. And immediately they're like, oh, it's a beautiful city. Oh, I was there once, or I've never been there, but I want to go there, So, there is talk about politics, but I don't feel like I need to defend my point of view. I don't feel like people put me on the spot.
do you ever feel embarrassed when you see other Americans acting typically American, or like loud, or obnoxious, or whatever?
I used to feel embarrassed by loud Americans, but I've been here long enough that it doesn't bother me anymore. Like, I don't care. They can do whatever they want to. It's not just because they're American doesn't mean that they're, they do represent a part of America, but.
Do you still identify yourself as like American, or do you kind of feel nationalist, or like, do you consider yourself kind of European or American, or just kind of your own thing?
Yeah, I definitely feel in between, somewhere in between. When I tried to move back, I didn't feel at home, and in Germany, I don't feel totally at home either.
Do you think, are you gonna have kids here or anything, or?
I don't see myself living here for the rest of my life, but you never know. You never know. Yeah.